Nangai kau rana I tutu ya sangai kau mai na ngone maramango tin kadhiwa bitsam katolu kina tin kadhiwa bitsam bul kadhiwa veke mami na zuru na mali we a undolu buga undolu na ngone lewa meke mami le barota ke na koribuli be barota ki mai sawani ene mami ngasni buli na maramango ke mami babi ne be na kataka bagalebu na nona mbula ena be tuli ena be susungi ena be barota ki kwa maramale kaleka leilai ia dona kana na kaukaua ni me was manda ba pertani ando ngana bosa nona presence be ke mami ni ke mami I vela ko heki tu ena koribuli tau tumba embure ena nema mbalikana wanu ningito ni ke meme reivi misbagatale enduna rarama e vare tako ko e viki mame ni ndundu me ke mami buli me ke mami kila na rava na buli me ke mami kila na rava na buli e andi da kombau na me ke mami kila na rava na yanga ni buli me ke mami reni tosu kina o ira kede daru yang baki batamando ke daru e umai na baki basanga bulu me ada bongo na bitu sanga bulu ke daru tigo na mali o ya ke daru bo be kani batal ngaki no ira varong tigo mai le usara ni mbula binaka na rama bulioti one lewa dona vanua I lo mai ama na vitu tolu kina vitu liwa ke mami tuli raki kina mendi da kumba o ke mami kede na buli na vitu tolu kina vitu liwa ko ngasi buli liu kina o misi bugatale ni kwa ke mami roni kaya ni ke mami e adoba ndo e sona veta I fraki ni nei mami venga rabe na vanua ke mtu kina au tukuniau ni ngau na kile yau ki no ko ni ngata mata leile Vata ki koya on leile le kaleka minji yau ko na Vata la ngaya au kila na nona maruro yau pesa ngiti o bani ko na tambana ngani ki mleitani utu muri sindondon me ke mutoko na niu na lawa ni koribuli na niu tau zoko na moli tau zoko me ke mami kauta na storu me ke mami baya ngata tau zoko ngai sobe ke mami ko te ni mami rarabisa ke mlekaniu baga bitalia tauto nindia baga bitalia ngunu moli baga bitalia na vei lawa lalai baya gai tulire ke mami kina na ne mami ngasni buli me tukuna ve ke mami ni katambu na kaya o koto mai na rarabisa mai na koro se mai na vei tauni se mai na vei atu anu o koto mai nda gombo mai tambu ke na kango mbleta ona baga rotaki mo venga rabi sang wala ngani no rota no buli ona venga rabi na no le sikina mo le venga rabi kina ko ya au ngandreba meu baga zo taka na maramongo ena vi kai baga rotaka membaleti ke mami na dolu baga dolu na ngone leo ngone marama buli oti mai kia na ngauna sa teke buki na mengasini buli veke mami ana va uma ne mami tumbere vituliwa saya do bona kati me sebu endo na maramango kemdo tukuna na bulio tinda kombo na first taudo all the firsts na veka ke ve sebu me dingite kinendo na marama mbasi kana maramango Nano nala ko maya Chief Education Office, may principal and dila ko sangay tu mele Deputy High Commissioner Londoni. Kim sabi tawa si kya esobe kim mami sa senga ni Ronnie Lebulian dila ko ni kim sa mataw tu nga and nano na be tulira kinangon maramongo. Kim rei kim mami atu ikya sudu na libena au vambula tiko be puana tavingu o lani bakatale kerto ne betamani mai namandi ni ke mkila ni asus tungai ka orto talangan tadi ke mami na lube tuakana o nona ya do tau fati kongo I Santa Rosa bat ke mari rawanga orto ne betadini na wanga au kila no au kila no au ro ni tukuna ni oia wendua na do wale tukutuku na veka kele e rawata o misukatale o na mas meu tiku kina mo bola o wabi ni bina katuni kua o samba ki ono sanga bulu na nungu bula sana bulu ni kua na ni maminga sini bulu mani o wabi ni bina kataga bakalebu ni mba undua na kengu yanga meu ndok bola na kena I bola tukutuku ni sa first tau ko tu ya la he commissioner le sumai dure na binding first me match tu mengai i basa ki ko na turanga prime minister na ngona ha na nona match baleta na nonda pinakata me ka ko ni balu tumbo mai mururo borense na panu kina ngai tiku kina baka it's like a sore thumb o tau whapakatale me waka reita ki koea na nona venga ravi mai viti na wasa pasifika matala ngā kina na besa i vura au rongola dona sere o ni ava tangitaka o ti toko lele na va tulua ni buki tulua ni ro na kena sere na ne mamitas ni buli Kambata na vata na romba ira, vinci la ke ya, na mara mindi ngo kimro moda, ni ambul na sergo, membaleta, na nema mingas ni bulo mani, ko enda sana talada tu, na mata beo kani, kilo lasi na kabindendai. Au sana talno tumbe nga kendo no munitaro, ningai taro.
Au taro sa kamandani bike mo ni maramatau, ni sa matatuweda kana mo ni talo taka to na maramang ko may nabit sa ngabul katulog kinabit sa ngabul kaziwa rono ni tukuna non rabi tulra kina maramang ko may tala di ni kuwa pagluto pagkatala kinon ralay pagkutura ni pagandua na yung bulong-bulong rongo may lobo ni lasi rono ni tukuna man deso na marama ni abuli bata may rasa bagay tutulelewu sa razing utalambekay na taka-taka rano mo ni sinia nangauna era vili utagitsiki na may antitakombaw na maramang ko o Miss Wakatali.
Na lo manibira na mbakia. Ndau tu watu na reike mame o kilani o nikila. O kwe head girl, o kwe ducks. O ira kedera line chigo yana head girl, o ira kedera line chigo yana ducks. Era achieve todo. Mata ini CEO, ina veke mame na marama. Seriana ngoro. Mata ini ni dona marame di tata todo ke tin katul se tin kalima na magazine na Pasifika lai sa tanga ngai tu ni kuha o kila tin karu se tin katul o irava koro ina PhD na university ni deba be tin kandu se tin karu ai rabuli anda da kombau non ra kasibul na maramugo ra PhD ebe uma o cha ngai ndo ndita ko koya me Indona ngone reida like all boarding schools, se high schools. Wanga salo rei to biko ni to biko na wakasaki ti to na no na velu take embure na wano ningito se overall koribuli sanding texar nga o kwe batikir na no na doni wakasalir na gasini buli era venga rabe na rukuna me biti rata ke ko ia me ulo stal na no monitaro sinero ni bili karawa dua dua nga una a ministra Dr. Lubeni ngai va korabelu takina tamban nimbula se lima se ono era buli ke rende da gombo mer director ni preventive health director ni public health director ni kango ke usanga itueno ya media liaison officer dua nga no ke mami Ahora ni tuku na baka doon to kay mami. Balata ni kemi mireda lestale. Ni o mantanga, she led by example. Na nona, parita ka nona bula me be karabi, na be no kaya kadimikina. E baka endo. Baka halo nga gata ki kay mami, na ne mami ntui be karabi talanga, na be tambana, ke malako kina, me ke mami shine, me ke mami nasapa na bosa ke mai panga rara mataka na pipo no ke mbenga rabikina au rongo dango endo na tal no era to na ngai andon don te kia una no na matabu vale andon don mela ko na tua kana na tina to taufa marida ngai topi mati tiko na marama go sa ngai tiko no iko ngamolako mindi kai lei tiko o iko ngamosala ko mo le bulia ni ko bo ia na matani mandingi ha andingi te kikina ngode maramo mere ya tau fa bakatale mai buang batiki lo mai viti wasu ki sawe ke ngau lo mai viti me azova ni vare ta ko ni dona kalo bikeni ultimate me gongon ke de ko na itabingo endua I tabi tale e tuana first au kava taka au wala na kena wala tuku na na solvi ko na Doctor of Letters au sanga i research tipo na tava na Doctor of Letters le varo to wa solvi to mai St. Andrews University ngona koribul nei Prince William the future King of England tipi kia koe wana ba kinga sa basi kaya ni na marama ngome mai solvi kila dau soli tu ni baleta nona thaka na nona venga ravi ve ki mami na marama na Pasifika ke na veka Keda venga ravi kina endau duana tau kawalewe so lewe ke mami na ni mami gasini buli ia ni ki mami sa sota Niki mami sa sota na songo ni buli oti kauti ko saranga maira me ke maindani si batatu me ke mbende ndaba kese ngani duwe tu ke ni sa teke butangiri ngiri na sere sana nduri na ili oko me vai all round the veki mami na ne mami baka dhimbi tu na dona bosa au sabuta ba o soma na malongo na nungu nanu malestale me ke mami baka dhimbi ira kede era buli na rukuni nona veli utaki o tia ira ngai lako ya ni sangolo ko na bituzi ora tegi buna wala sanga bulu se tigo ikia ora to na ivovo ni kasini buli ora to wa zizi baka tigo na korbuli na rukuni nona veli utaki na malamongo ora ngai out mai kina dona ilala levu ko kora ngone beki mami same thing era la kabatiko they become first in everything they become the nanga una tukuniki na mesa tukuniki na mbosele buaturang sa to ya bo endi kumbau me rasale buli sawane ko endo ver na leono sangul karu na ko to bakin ka de wasangul kawalu mela ko ikya matai na ise buni non rto head girl ro una matai tini mai na matabu vale mai rabo na no baturang o basanga na kena korro lo mani korro kai tukuni bango ni ra quando tala nona ngone kim songo tu kina vita non dolu na ngone mbaki pasa ngabulu lima sangabulu ono sangabulu kina korbuli kendo ka ko kim ta ko songa mbetini wai kim mai mode tu nambure e olongi tu e nandroni makita sanga i tege budaka na korbuli a provincial school southern principal tugukina o Selened Asha ia non andau tala no taka biki mami yo sabutu yani dona mata andau tiko mai ndi romba menda zulu ni kina embiu ikia non darara bisa embiu ikia na itutu babanua embiu ikia na itutu mendala ko yani endala ibuli mendayanga itukuni beira ni sabaro tau ya bana korubuli ndolako dole ba buli resona ka me do blota na uzumundo na luka ena lomani ena tabo ye se sabatiko i kondo na ngonele mag niyo na lestal na koro se na nangutiki na na leba buli da beira dona kaundo tukuna tu na bira batana mbake nungu kila na kai tukuni baya ngai kai they made a mistake. I'm telling you about the colonial government ni tukuni nga miki mlako mera lako ngauro to na ono samukarue aro to le bulida so na kala le ya na tiko sabsabana tiko mbulumbula merto ngai sukatale aro to le babuli dira na ngone mena koro ngai sem they became the first doctors the first secretaries aro to ngoro mispakatale aro to tini bandu i New Zealandi kwa ngai bul kala ngai bulintu ko kibia so ji tala nga ko era to la kokina ko na Cambridge na bitarong ni Cambridge era to achieve bandu ida torto na lala ngone lala ingo ko ngai set takakina roto na ono sang bukarua including na ngon marama na ni ma mengas ni bulomani me pagarete ki koya I'm not going to only meu babin binakte ko elebu mana le ono sang bukarua arato lako bateki ko e koribuli era to biuta endona Vata e to toka me kima mi bulikina o kima mi na undolu baga undolu na ngone lewa bulikina so na turanga bultal matai ni na ise buni dorobo bulikina o tau ko ni siambaki mai chili vai ko ya bultal ngandi da kumbawa wando tu na ngoni lawa da no desk mai tu para me dolala e rua talimbe kai muri ya kena bo sando la bo ko na koribuli me ro me kina rongon na uru era so na ngoni Australia ra la mai so do na ngoni Amerika me kima mi lei tu Vata ka Maroroya, balataka, bulira, na vika, hembiuta vike mami, na korni buling lebungo, vike mami, bulataka na kenambula, vike mami, bulida na vika, samuel ngani kem bulida korni buli kem mami do tuwe na top burre mi kem lago talikina le basa ga soro lago mai suba lago mai me mai buli talekea me rata teke bani keke rata ka bonon ralonga ya na vika e tuwe na kor bulia kem mami ala i bulida tuwe na ngona e beli tekina sanga lago mai muro ruto na gasi buli ra no na ngone buli talitunga ruto sanga i muriani ira no na junior girl talitunga So, ena kabin dain sa baro le ndo so na singa uba abin binakatak na radio Bula Duavata ena kena soli be kema mendo na ngauna mi kema mi baga binakakina wana kalo ena nona bula na nema mi gasni bulo mani na nema mi principal Dr. Maria Taufa baga tale na doctor ya kwa na doctor of letters kwa le soli mai bua ena nona venga na ena Pacifica mai na St. Andrews University mai Scotland.
Turang kina marama terbuka nong nele boto ko beken tini ketolo miniti me on na koloko non bulang ichiko. Marama tau basi tiritoba marama kelele besar na boli tuku non tebu nolong manu bici ramai talo takacunga balet ni rantu no magatu na ngona ni non rebilu taki non ranggas ni buli liu sana mai taladi juga nanti ngona leka ngo Miss Meraya tau fa bakatali mai na andi za kombau school ombo mai kila marama tau na maramanggo na ngau na na tua kanggu bawaci na lobo ni bubale boturang mai betiki bei dilusi engkasion dilusi rangode na marama na randilebuka na nortu ijugu mene saniu manon re cukup talanga mena manji toka vitiki bitonga batik na non robal na nungutali lai ando numa ke sonangu na do ngoleani di dasar nabi kau ni berita ke maraman do talan noto kana maramang goe maramal lili tonga ando komanta ka tu non da respect do tu rani mu tahu pa do menda mai no talan no matai la tu menda ngamai nan rendre sangken do bosa ta kitu mai boka malu non lo matu ngadi non ra do talan no la ko bata tu nan rendre ya sarra boka dingu tu kina o bos jinga na vida na bagi saut sember ni ngol Amerika na ni tondo sota na cukup mai na sanyu mai na rewasa wata laki na mai na mandi kay nanomo ni ngas ni buliliu bambut ini sama tat sar juga nanomo ni talon tegir chiko na kabe na ko duangan na nanomo do redir do tampe tong na tampe tamer kintu talon notok sa matu sar nambulai okay ni bagari takotok di lebu nai matai ya bukator nonra bugi ni mati londoni waktu lagi dan mati talangan di meram itu me rawatan aku rini buku na Bachelor of Arts kid na bungatal may palutu manda may palimenji lako siya di do bata do na suko buat politik no le match tu na buku di bagato tagin nga sa ukur may muroro orto na matin tu ya bay varanisi anta sakila bina ko tu na kenri tuku rele sumai ramai matay talanga ni buku ni maram mer prime minister no do benua ya mambo tambah tembangan sakila isawan itu kena rugu dipinta ko sa rere sana kila ikemuni itu kena nomuni wala todo ko sarre kena
Oya kilai ke mami andun dua by our name na bono kem la mai kina na be ka ke de kem da kavatiko ni saka di bana damu ko sakila sar ngani ko e bari di ko bina ka tu mai na ka da ka ke ro ngir lali tu ke ndo ngon batulela na lali ni lotu sa sa polo na lali ko ke ro nanu mande da ka tu na disco me ke ro kinda dal nimbiro na lali sa ke ro ka di bine na vale to ke da ke bango na bono lali pasta kan do nambure na driveway sarai da ke o de ke na lali o bango ta vingu to sa de no ke e so na kala lai menda kauta tu ke non dara bisa se da balengil tu ke na vai na lali na kala lai au sarai da nyo ko e samba ka indua na bulioti i na koribuli se la ko tu ki na non rapau na principal na ngone ai da sinrani au na sinrani to ti ke da lestali muria bat ya na non bina kata me kema mi buli no na binakata mikima mi binaka sini binakola nga mikim da zoba saranga na beta idake ni nema mi bengara mi bena banua ni olako kima mi ni kim lako na bi banua kede ya be na bi matantu kim na taronga indu may bulian sa kung bawit wike but na nema bengara mi kima bito rilinga takatu na beka baka buli na bikima Siang malangan ini kasi bulong ko babuli dira talangan no nang kasi ni buli ra buli o tiket sa talangan 99% nera baka buli di kay mamitiko ena beka endondon mi kay mamikila ne ba utsat tukuna me ukila na zaba na buli me ukila na zaba na buli andi na ko baw Uy, ko buli andi na ko baw sinyo buli ti nga nandu na ko buli sa ngani ti ko na kena standard diket mo kila na yang ni buli mo kilana yangan ni buli mo buli mo buwa so au babi ni pinakapagalip na radio Bula Duavata ni suliento ng unang ko o kila vera na nang buli o ti grabar rongo ti kumay na besa ibura-bura ni sa teg tekira en go ene mami tribute to zoko era na ni mami senior girls koroto serve na Washington Embassy may vake ko ira ratumay New Zealand ratumay Australia era zoba na high commissioner wirango era zoba na kena vinga rabita uzoko ina tambani bula tambani buli tambani raki tambani daw baka tuku tambani bola tuku tambani ni tamasa na ito kay ena ve beta kena sariraki au kila au bambo te bunya longo ni dondo dua ni mami baka pinakali hindi na nga ni kim sa bola tiko na bola kim na kabatu na madaw ko saan do naka au sangorongoro na lebu ni ngone marama bulioti ke mami bola na beka ke mami kila ni binaka kina na nona betumberi na nema mengas ni buloman
Maramatau uli supamata don habi ka wareta ka apakah behenji na sarang ano mo nito kuda sabol kan ni all corners of society nga satu kino na ngoni bulio ti binandi ta kambau skula no ngona matanga buli kina na nunggungas ni buli liu misoro kumbo na yang ex daba ACS dona nunggungas ni buli Miss Mailkai buli may bay andi ta kambau school ndo sa chengo Miss Merembikai XACS go ndo chuka namba kim se buli chuga ndo chuka talanga go Miss Lucy Sabu no muli ba reta go rapango angkas di buli nga Miss tau po katal baka sarang kasi buli todo ko talaga may ACS yo me ndo na bituli ra kibanaka oni ba reta ka to kaya di sa rombota na nondo biti na kani tuku na no mudi kurbuli binaka abambota di ndo na trendset ango sama yung bijikan tanda bitan singa saud sa baru tala talanga ando nang unang leka go turan kina marama daru kina ngonela ando chuna tribute membale chi mista u patali mai talo ta chungong ando nang ngoni buli ukla na ngoni buli baka nini ba kimbe kan non rangon na mai na andi ta kambau school expel baka pa se tur chinga
expel baba buli bango lako lebet kan
ha
Kanda woso na nungu side ke me na tuna side sabada yo budi sa expel te ko mis bagatay o charan yo sapeta les talemay ni les mayan do na ko na tuki ko saro mo laylay yo ko kilabi na katumat ninduri tu ino no pasare da sal ko may ko nang mindi talangango le tu da ken ko nang da tu da ngo ba da tu da ke tu na sotia men da satu da ni satu ko nang kasibuli lebu ke biti na korubul ke biti no na me do na kami bola tu la mata da ngamay nang kaboka la ko talele unpack no miaya ina lo ni tol sa nga bulgan ba kaya ungay do ba kasam ta ti ko bola ti ko na bidan na singasaw sita ba ta ka kinabayan do na pakyo no sa nga bul ko rubul na runang dol kawal ke may mala ko kin mi kimle ta ka na men to ti na bo ni ono sa nga bul karu na tawyabu na vale ni turang na kumeno so ratu bendo ko timbaw ano na idea mayo Mrs. Rokotimbaw to na bita din ko na turangan ni Val may bunulip may mga duwata.
Iya,
Sa
may
teto ni Bia,
namukay.
uya mo siya, tayo mismo sa tala na menati.
Ha.
Iya, erto sa amba kibit sa nga buluto ya, okay mami, sa tawili ako kito nga ngo may suba, sa tukun dola ko may, pero na ono sa nga bulkaruan na marama, sana, to sa na hostay ko na usod. Like ni Bia, uy ko tanati may mismo katali. Yan dalaga ni Bia, ko, nandito kay kweti ko nga, nandito kay kweti ko nga, usang ngay taro nga, nataroyan mo. Sa taba, and daw, tu no come pek no ya lo stel mai pek lo stel mai ba gai tolo na bosa tu na ngabi ko bosa mo pertania because you're good. Yan ang una sa rongoli kino kendar na bolo tukutuku na lako ba be sa ibura ando non daru award may chavani gai sulit talaga ko endo no award na matani diba Pearl Award me ba binakatakan my contribution to journalism may biti kinawa specific. So to me ang bautan ni rawi ang mutukuna
Nirita raw ko na potential ito ko bikya mo niya. Okay, baka principal may andi takumpaw. Baka doon nga, ni saang wala sura. Yang ko, hindi baka pa, malat sa rita raw ito na maramang kasi buliliw. Kala nito na italo no pinakatalangan, non rin daw rito pinakatuir na non dambulay na unang tasana daw pambot na ron nilay hindi talitu nanto nangon sa rito kemunito nan muni sa polo tikutukutu kaya pakambi ka mo niya salisuimbang ngay pala na matiningon o kila ni sa ko sa rambang nga may nana no siya may be
sa kanindot ko na pano bango mo adukina Yoko ni kema mi sa sota na buliot me songo nindo na so mate sendo na kami kemla kukina na pangareo badidi non daru nickname me ndida como badidi labe mai na imbea tomi ka manakago reau diri sa ngau sa kinanimoni au sa kilatu nung gasin ni bulingo kaya lo maniau array na potential etiko viau expel te kiau draw te kiau tal expel la tal mai la ko ui ko bita katu sa mo ni ro mai de mo mo da bo sa bia ka sini buli si buli to kasi buli with diploma siya ko na tuwa mo kasi buli so samba kibit sa ngabulo ni mami korubul na bakin go me ko to pa na ngauna to ala ko kina 75 years ago me samba kibit sa mukalima kina ukila ni mami lubudi ni dondo ni ko ni vei songo kede ni songo ni bulioti tuiliu ke baka sindo tu da mandani se nandani so mis bakatale in all her first highly qualified indigenous Fijian woman. Ko viva maro tagi tunga bekema. Nangon eli kina tarong ke mis bakatale. Don mo nga una eli ande sa tu mai. Ko Scotland. Mele più mai viko na kurulia. Rawa. Tawra na kuruya bateke ndua na senior official like President Obama nangon toko talaga no kendo to toko tu en Scotland mele somba na kurulia wa au pangulati ko vike muni nanong girls senior girls vike muni talaga na junior au kemdo kito tababarka la kosom kaya daw po sa chiko vera to nung gulo ni kalasi ni sana listale na corona November ang kendo bago daw tamba mai sa somusaro mis katalong daw masula tubuan turanga ni ko tanong ng gulam hedo ban yung na listale buha no le ba bin nakataka mo school ko ya saya do nakadin turanga and na ba bin nakatunga wa na turanga nang bula ya bulan Victor Lirake besu sungi sando na kake mamizimbi dina ni kema misara rota ka iyo poko esa di riboti na fere daw tuko ni mana koro sa remba dia na reveni saya do sa nang dua na pagtangin dingende da sa pa binakangakina na no na bending takibua nandaw nilawa kelo malay.
Nabalib sar maramataw ranindo mandangan na yojo sinomuni tugutuku sa ono weekend na kaloko na radio Bula Duavata nanonda bulang ichiko pa si Tiritova may tal no taga chiko non rangas ni buliliw non da deputy prime minister non do ngona Miss Tau pa pagtale sambi chikenda na buro-burong ko anda po bibinakan ni siyang ndo weekend na bukumbuka na ngole sarangole sa akin doon yojo sinomuni tugutuku sember ni zapo non derbitan lo ne kapinakan ko
sa ono nakaloko karo sa kawal ni Chune ronondol rosa mukatol hindi na nga niya sa kadibi na ng bula na singwaraway na kaya nga una may nonda na singanikwa kung gabi na binakatakan niyo kenda todo ko and the vitala noti ko ni tegabuni sa kambura kimay na nasayan nonda ba gabi na binakatakay so vera ko Parangone chungo era sindoni ko ya. Iya, era kilawa bina kana nambul namaram ko enda ba bina bina kata ka lebe enda dua bata. Ena non ta ba bina bina ka buan kalo ena non nambula. Non ta gasini bulo mani. Da ba bina bina kata ka ni. Rawa ni sule non nambula endo etu kuna ilibi raki na non nambula. Ena buku ni nema mengarabi da ngone lewa namaram. Mai na besa ibitin ka ba wilkina son pasifika mai bala ni talanga. Me ke me toka tu la ko zuru mana mata mata ya me ke me le buli da kina na raba na buli na raba na velo mani na raba na velo sei ni kua ni ke ma auti tumba ke ma mdona songo songo ni buli o te nandona korubuli kau kau tau ndua nganga ke me vindi ni kua ni a tuli da ke mami na korni buli e mo gasini buli liukina na ke mami na ne mami na talenga e senga norto nanga matabu vale mena mani e te nei ke mami maru ke mami ke mami ni bina ka kena sabi na vale wasiti o bridi ni mo demanda
Tura kena marama terbu kino ngone leon tapo bina kasata pika dan tapi tan lo ba te ke marama tau apa si tiri topa ena buku ni non ratal no tagi cunga na marama anta sarong sa cuna ken rital no ena kabi de bin karabi tinta si bina ono na rona miniti ena radio Bula Duavata me ko ciken da batama
Talenta que se ni kau na moroi Andida komba una bala takaboli senika unibeya sanarelewe na boli Wai manukui Isa welele na kena senika uken randito tokarimo si beya Seni makosoi na senika kala seni langa kali kena udi rimbo ya Rukuni benda kuwa koi saumi pele singanaga bosni koro pele singarawa rai tu mai au na viri ke mai nelai na kai kai ena ramu enai mole ena kilai londoni mai vina kaneta vira urago nambila sarawati ena kumundo wakavina vina kakina nandaglo savere buria nandakuira tutumulio tira wakaisa isa lelena kai kai watu dere tunikua rai tu mai au na viri ke mai lelena kai kai ena ramu enai mole ena kilai londoni mai mole ena kilai londoni mai mole ena kilai londoni mai.
Radio Bula Duavata me Kauti Keda Vata mai San Francisco ki pura sema mai gai você yani
Songo kena wakai lesi sai jona wati na kena presidenti andina una kena idavuti kai mamikilatu kena itauke naturanga ratu sino wale na presidenti kilai talengani silesi wa merasa na beauty ke imani beleti ame kunikau belaki valataki sangani rawa tua katangane raraningito pekua nilave onde itu makawailuadi tevita mainavu Semenukuni mole no motorway Leuni mateni era sandui wakila Ratu epeli nairaianu ya kuturana Sandendeni yava latino na motoka Nigisobu Sakari Jina may nabukailangi Pita may molilaw Kawawang no matanga Kaini araw Kailuan no namotoka Ebauluwa kunabi Taraw sesemelay singani Ay tomo Makatulang may ngarani Babuduan na meleti Pomay mangadali Bula Duavata Kay kunay ninong rameleti na marama Sakuan na to ulea
Yo santi sar marama yanu mai liku na yau mai na yatu lau salolomba bimbit mo ir weekenda na kabi bem garabi dindai ke na non salu tale ni sa sibito weekenda na on na rosa blu ketolo na minitia o tanga bitin tuk ni bibolingo yo kan singa bukilulu dau o chuchini bi mama ni aua and dau sema kina non da lutu na bi mazawai na non da marau na kake na ta kaburo ngondo na singa sana zaba ni kina Koya endo yang amendan pakai pangkata kita nga bagayalo da bobi na kana bugun norto ndaw bito ko dichu na Radio Bula Duavata arto na songo lotu binaka New Methodist Christian Fellowship kala ni achu buli talanga mai Canada watana kina korturang mai Sacramento mai Santa Rosa na Ronald Park na liu ni songo lotungo tal ngasi atu na isa vosa do bulon no programo nungu chisu nungu bonua nandua na ngauna leka mayongo
Isando bulu binaka. Dosan kay toki mai, endo binaka tu banggara.
Iyo, ni bula binaka. Kito singito kibo sarangamay. Satu token dino Pennsylvania. May baka tumuli ang madoni turta na dadaka na tumbuni wayway. Iya, kito sa mista ka saranga nakaka na wagabiti. Kito rongoda, nito kendo na stondo buli kenda to kakana.
Iyo, na Fiji Cover Store. Ito ka sarangay liugori, nakakede tu kina. Na Fiji Cover Store. Kauti viti mai vokaboleka ka voka se butaka na buana nanu. Woli teki tukina na tinika, tini bulu makau, takas ice cream, na mateni, na ika na mbele. Yado kina chase ningu nengona, na twisties na bongo kay na bean, kay na bungatali. Sangay lebu sarangan nengona kareang gona binakadina. Ngay indolo mo talanga ango na nondato boutique. E woli teki na naisulu kanta kilaita ni kina kina daga dilinga, karami soli boy loloma. Wei kemuni mai Pennsylvania, kena vebu no wale kata. Erau talanga ni wakau tanga mai na nomani ota na taliboni se email, karatau nangai wakau tanga na nomando boli. Yana Fiji Cover Store LLC, 100 South Mount Vernon Avenue, Uniontown, Pennsylvania. Nabari taliboni vitu seba vitu, wadi orua vitu diwa vitu ono, se bandu lima tolu seba vitu, diwa rua vitu tolu, se email kena Fiji Cover Store PA@gmail.com. Nada mo sarama da mebuli kenen dono no life insurance policy may be Lincoln Heritage.
Silang ayaw sa nagkakil ni Turta, nagkakil kabito ni Agostita na 2022 o sangir ta kasarabiri ni tauna. Nagkabi nga ya, kinamagal siya nga ya, sala ko man check. Sengat tali ni pera, sengat sarangan ni pera palilay. In time sarangamay. So, nagkaliwara ka tala tuntawara ka. Kuwertong ko. Saya lo bengo kamu bilang tak nak kampanye bilang gua na heritage link ni mau lebih nak sarang saya kata rindu nak kaya pakar tutu nak kena bahkan nak kena pepo work itu tak kami suami nak kira kena timber na faka sing to be kena ila boleh waya minta samu kena kisi dan ni marong kena ngona mojuri paling bul kaki na kar pada waktu na insuang
Baya sarangan na muna. The Lincoln Heritage Life Insurance dodonga so muna claim na lo manurusang bulu ka banewa. Kaya sa ruwan ang baki o tinapol singgaya na lenga, di ko na beba siya waray. Dawi mati sa siyang. Raw sar na bakalew fo mo na telefoni. Text mai kina was seva walu bandua tolu walu lima na kenay tutubo matelelay. Yavalata, Dionangay Velata and Radio Bula Duavata. Wait talono te kina na bika membaleta na nondong bula. May weiran na kanan daw may natambanan ni bula so. Nasi na puniway. Rangodan na ba na kaloka na Vata Avenue City and na veto ko ni Lincoln Heritage Life Insurance. Nakamba ni Life Insurance kang anitikan na kay Witi Amerika.
Ngandra ba na ba ibuke? Ano ka na sami na namalibo-libo sa nagas? Kita ura ni buke iko. Girita may na empower and na ono rua ono saiba dua liwa ono.
Turang kena marama darbo kino ngone lewa sa sibito ko bekenda na ono na rosang bulu ka walu na meniti. Ruang na meniti nga sa to ka matando ko sana tega buki nonta programu nugu cisu na nugu bono matau manda dora kana nugu babu binaka taka nonta bitoka ni mai tulu na keloko me ato mai na tigini miniti binaka ngo kato to tega bu santo bagare taka sana ndona ngona sana mai dawa kina sana boru siamba nonta lotu na yakabi de bengarabi ndinda ni semberni ngole nagu seri baga mode kana kuci kenda talangani ki nonta programu kataraba ubabu di binaka na buku ni non rasiama cukup mai sono kandang goso rasiama sarmai baga yawa so rasiama tonga baka boleka na kabi di bengarabi ndinda baga ni binaka be rtona mati lawa arto siama tongo tori katinai kerto na nona mati law mene tukuka turangayanu chosa tiki sabo mai na Washington State mai Seattle malo turangayanu kala ni koko binaga chuka munu bengarabi no buguni awareness program ni baga torto mai bataki tal-tala rejin tal-tala kerto to sar na biokan mai danguri na ekab di bengarabi nding tai baga ni binaga ke muni nonta onin do bata chuka mai Seattle na ekab binaga di kuwa baga takina kerto na mati lawan ne Able Junior naga Able na siya mai Bill Finau malo sar baga lebo bitokan itu na eka binaka di bingarabi din tayo na radio Bula Duavata lo may di baga bimbi ke muni kina no muni mata bubale Bula binaka melen olate baga kina be Lucy Bita Noa belum tahu binaka sa boleh benanto baga muri tu may na program ko na biya kay to sar baga kina may na yun may nawi may sabu-sabu na partai si bunite ke biti o sia busanti ke na no muni mata bubale ke muni to sar na biya kanyo ni siya mai na kab di bingarabi din tayo zoki manta pagalay non to ni bingarabi nta baka namata non lotu na kab na ni kuwa baka no bilang talanga be malalanga be skirton do siya mai Liverpool mai Australia o pede la no bono muni ni bingarabi dan kami so total ni mataka me adab na ngonya ni baka tingo binaka ni samo de
Kena matamu, oh sama
Chisu Nungu Vanua. Warotaka na New Methodist Christian Fellowship USA and a Radio Bula Duavata San Francisco me Kauti Keda Vata mai.
Ramani family table talk. Ina ka makalib na nomani do mga matagaston na noma. Ni nomani pula nomani do bakarong may enabi matakalile ni marway i-viti.
Wa ambula tigo weekend na turanga na marama daru no nelewa. Ena sana tinigawani no do noa. Wa ambula tigo ani na program binango family table talk. We bakarawai we mama ni vitu. Vital no takina na ka membaletan matawale na non dambula. Wakabiti mani, wakabiti nani, wakabiti ni anything on the family. Doon nga na kami balik na matawale. Kaya doon dami, vital noa, viva katatakidake, viva kararamatagita nga. Nason, naginibulan to rin ni Bibu Kikina, nandang bula to na basinga. Siya nga ni Roro ng bula, dari dito ko da sotakay ko na so na bole-bole. Naginibulan ni Bisaw. Bisaw sa rito ko kalibo na naginibulan da duruma. Bako siguro na naitamuhan ni. Au sabang mulit tu kanin non tapon nolong manjobiti, ate utang amay na sana baturang olaw, kau drobin buki maduatan ni Bula Duavata. Sana baturang orawa te ba, o nanrong abat te kina bosa, siru te kina musi, taile bote kina tasiri. Ni Bula Duavata reo bote kilo mai viti, sini ulia dawe kinto mai na sana baturang o kadamu. Wiya ni anu diriawa, diriwaleka, sabang mulit tu kani, ni matakan ni singa ni dai. Au kila ninge uti tungo na muni mata on balabu kitu uti wene sa sabara tungi listel tungo mai na singa lo tuli mga sa ge uti go dune tungo na sere kini buli da baka bini na kina baka lewu na turanga na ide muni bula we maru itu na kalon non da bula roni kenda yana tala mai kina na mataka ni singa ni kuwa na ikatsini kalima ni singa ni bula oktoba aruna undolu rosa bulgaru sa may bi mama tal tungo na bulo ko toba sa asiro tal tu sabonga ngo na November ginan December menda da batala ni visa o be ronondolu rusa ko bulo tolu kero mo ni binakatugani rakin yung bula da mga kenda na tuwa kina na bi bukitu weekend na non da turang na kalulimu and anyway to those of you that are not Itoke speakers that you normally watch this program, we take this time to greet you and to welcome you into this program. 7:30 Family Table Talk. All about family and all about the things that we go through, the reality of this life from a family point of view. So whatever we share may be encouragement or enlightenment to families, couple, those that are struggling financially or even relationship, that nothing is impossible. We just have to think positively and try to do our best because today will never come again. Yesterday is gone, but tomorrow is yet to come. So whatever we do in this life, we do it to the best of our ability. And I believe most of us that we are in the western side, we enjoy the finals of the deans from under 14 right up to under 18, including under 19, and the girls. We enjoy the game in Churchill Park in Lautoka, and I believe that some will enjoy, some will we could have, but let be bygone be bygone. Look forward to another 2023, and especially the last term of the year 2022, I will focus on academics to all our children that they must achieve well this year 2022. Right?
Yeah. Well, looking back at 2022, like we've always reminded for you to step and look back. Because when we don't look back, then we continue to live the way that we are living and continue to think that everything is good. But if you look back, say for the 10 months, even though we are on to the 10th month, just for you to have a quick assessment of how far you have come. If you have been sick, how good have you been keeping your health or your diet or the requirement that you have been given by the doctor? And not only for yourself, but also check your family. If one of them is suffering from something that you have been nursing over the year. And not only in the health, but also check in your finances, how far you have changed from what you used to do before, and what have you managed to save. and for Christians or for believers on how you have managed your finances in acknowledging God, like in terms of your tithe or the different things that come from your own denominations. And not only the tithe or the little thing that you help out in the church, maybe the giving in funds into the missionaries, or cooking food for the widows, and helping out with the orphans, all those little things. If you can just have a quick assessment on how you have managed so far, now that we are on to the 10th month of the year, which leaves us only with the 2 months remaining for us to say last year. 2022 now will become last year. Other than the, because we are moving forward to the 2023. And like I, for once, if I look back and I say, oh, the year has really gone so fast, that some of the things that I've written from the beginning of the year to achieve, I still haven't achieved them, which means I have to work a little bit more extra hard or more smarter to be able to achieve that. So it's a good reflection, just to reflect back on the 10 months. And if you say to yourself from the beginning of the year, oh, I can push myself to save this amount of money every month that I don't really need, that I just use it for unnecessary things. And but if you resort back to using those funds in doing whatever you've been doing, and you haven't managed to save, or you did so for a few months and then you just stop doing it, maybe this is time. I mean, it's never too late. 2 months is a lot of time if you really manage every week and every day well. And it's a good time just to stand and check back. We've had our conversation, like for us, it's our grandchildren who are still going to school. And we always have this Thursday, like every Thursday of the week, we call it the student council. Our youngest student is in class 4. Who is Sunday. So that particular night, when we have our devotion, we turn it around to be the student council, and we get to hear all of them. So they can talk about what they lack in school, the subject that they're struggling with, the kind of meals that they take, the ones that last until lunch, the one that is not really nice to be taken to school, but it's nice for them to have it at home. So it's like a good conversation that we can hear directly from them, other than asking them the question, are you opening a lunchbox and the lunch is still not used? And you're asking all those questions, why you never eat your lunch? But when they give those kind of feedback, it helps. It gives a good communication for all of us that whatever that we prepare, they're going to eat it well. And now we've just had ours because they were really into rugby, and now the dance is done. So the conversation changed a little bit. Before it was full of rugby, or 50% of rugby, or 25% of rugby. But now it's like, okay, straight after that, when we have our devotion, we were still in the western side, we started reminding them. School, the next term is full of exam. We have 2 that are in year 12, 1 that in year 10 for external examination. So, we start reminding them. Now when you're going back to school, we need you to bury your head in your books. We need to, the same passion that you have towards rugby, preparing things, fasting, praying, all those efforts and strength that you have given towards the extracurriculum, which is rugby for these boys. We are encouraging them, use the same passion in everything, but towards your academics. Yeah. Because those results, once you sit to your exam and you go past the year, you cannot undo them. And you cannot go back and change those marks. And I remember, and I was sharing with them about my brother. I have 3 brothers. I have this particular brother. He's quite smart. They went to Bar Methodist School, and they stay in the hostel. So on the first school year of his year 12, he wasn't really happy with his marks. So he had to go back and sit another school year, which he didn't finish because he came out and worked. And I was sharing with them, when you do it well now and your mind is focused, write down the marks that you know that you need to achieve. And if you look at your subject, I'm talking to you students that are listening to us today, or sitting together with your family, or parents that we can help our children to achieve. So I will just get them look through their marks on their previous exam. They said, okay, if you look at that mark, say if you get 60, and you look at your papers, and you say to yourself, like I got 60 because I just don't understand the question, or I don't understand what they're talking about, or you say to yourself, those are just mistakes that I could have gone without it. I shouldn't have made those mistakes. And if they're, really good mistakes, and you say to yourself, okay, how much point is that? Which is about 10 to 20. And if it's 10 to 20, then you can tell yourself, oh, I can score 80 the next time if I'm more careful, or if I revise well. And then don't just look at the subject and give up and say, oh, I don't really like the subject, or I don't like the teacher. Like you look at this particular subject that you're doing, and you've already given up. Don't. And I always encourage my grandsons or my grandchildren, look at the same thing. And I started doing this for my children. Now they have their own families. And I'm beginning to do the same thing with my grandchildren. And I said, no matter what it is, that subject, you still need to sit on your exam. And if you apply for a job, or if you put out in your CV, when they look at their marks, they couldn't care less who was the teacher or the situation that you go through. A mark is a mark. Marks gain is a mark that's going to be there on your certificate throughout your life that you cannot change. So when you look at those challenges, you challenge yourself, how can you look at it in a more positive way? Or if you lack the understanding of the subject that you're going through, what kind of help do you need? So I encourage them to tell me the kind of help. So I organize tutorial, ask their teacher if they're willing, to be paid extra to have those few hours. Or I rub it off, speak with other people on what is available out there. So there are always ways and means that we as parents or grandparents, that we can help our children. More so now that we're coming towards the end of the year, and most of our children are sitting external exam. Other than just waiting for them to achieve at the end of the year, and like you're not happy with the result that they bring, maybe this is the time that we can invest a little bit more time to help them through and discuss with them the areas that they need help on.
Yeah, I think it's very important, the role of parents or guardian, by reminding them and pushing them.
Yeah.
It's our duty to push them. It's our duty to remind them. Most of the students, they have interest here and there, but it is our duty.
Yeah, to be distracted.
This time in school will never come again.
Yeah.
So we need to remind them of the importance of the marks for their future, their work, because universities, they have limits and requirements. So it is our duty to check their homework, check their assignment, or even some projects that they have. And that's why it's good to get involved in their school. We were blessed because ever since our children went to school back in Nandi Airport Kindergarten, Nandi Airport Primary, and Siripakanan College, and Jaspa, or International for Elijah, we continue to be part of the school. And I believe even those commitment to the school work and be seen in school with the teachers or with management, it's boost our children to do well.
Because you're part of
what they're doing. When we go out in numbers for Coca-Cola in athletics, in sports, or rugby, the same that we should do in academic. Because there is a moral and encouragement when they see their parents or somebody from home, they are part of what they're doing. And the challenges today, they are most of the students, they come away from school, or they step school, or they make excuse not to go to school. So if we are not careful in supporting them, being with them, then they are vulnerable to follow otherwise the things that we don't want to talk about in school. Just like when we encourage people to go to church and live a good life, the same thing that we must do as we send our children to school. Because once they finish with the school, all those marks will remain. You can't
follow the way they go.
In universities, you can do it again, but in school, once you pass that school years, it will be very difficult. And sometimes, people go back when they are 20s and 30s, but people who would rather go through and do their best while they're still in school. So we are encouraging parents and guardians that we must be beside our children when they are in school at the moment because of the challenges. As I said before during our introduction, the world today is very, very different from the time in the 60s and the 70s and the 80s and the 90s. Now we are in the 21st century, is totally different ball game altogether. So the more we are part of them in their school, in their results, and even their parenting, PTI, their meetings, we must find out how they are doing in school. Because the earlier we find out, then it will be easy to help and to make some correction. It will be difficult when they've been part of what they are doing and we don't realize it from home, and it will be difficult to change them. So it's a big challenge, and we are encouraging all the parents that you are watching this morning. For you overseas that you are watching this program, Australia, New Zealand, America, and the UK or other parts of the world, it'll be totally different. And you know exactly what we are talking about. In Fiji, we are still blessed that we still have some part of our culture that assist us to nurture our children. To be a good student.
It just takes us back to when we had this conversation with that group of girls back in England. Like for them, when they're 18, they are leaving home, starting their life, going to work, apart from studies. It's sort of like by the age of 18, you have your independence to, continue with your life. And this particular young girl, she mentioned, I don't really want to leave home. The valley weekend na kaivite, that talita kami na tikong ganyan bagitin college and baking one is sarang weekend. Can more on the bakasama when you're 21 and then you're ready to leave home. But if you're anything younger than that, it's sort of like you're still clinging to your parents. And when she was mentioning that, the mother was sharing with us. Then the mother said, you don't really need to leave. You don't really need to leave home. And then she said, but everybody else is doing it. You need to leave home by 18. Pay for your own place and have your own life. Do your studies, but work at the same time. And those are the things that that is applicable to our children outside Fiji. And Vale Vivek Viti, like if you talk about 17, 18, that's very young. And you talking about the 12 and the 13, and even before going to university. So non-matured nangone when they are with us at home, it takes longer because they're always depending on parents. They're always depending on their family and their relatives. And most of the time, when they move on with their life or after study or when they go to work, it takes a while for them to be mature to manage themselves because they are so used to being looked after or managed by parents or adults. And I believe it's an advantage maybe to countries outside Fiji that you get to do that because it's part of their law. And for Fiji, that's why I would think it takes a while for our children to be matured because we're always running their lives for them. And some I see, they have the tendency, even if they're staying with their parents, they are already matured. But some of the children, if you're listening to me today, like when you lose your mom or you lose your dad, automatically you become responsible. And that makes you to be more matured. Like you look at the same thing like everybody else does, or everybody of your age would be, but you look at it in a totally different way because of the circumstances of your upbringing or the situation that you've gone through. So the maturity, we've always talked about it. I share a lot about maturity because we go to church, and I grab the opportunity to share with them, like when you're matured, the way you look at life is totally different. And then when you go to church, you trust in God to give you that maturity and wisdom to be able to be wise in all your decision making, which means it can be your personal life, it can be your school life, it can be your social life, it can be anything else about your life as an individual. And that is why, like for those of you that go to church, it's very important for you to trust God to lead you that way. And for those of you who do not believe in God, then it becomes like the word for you would be maturity. The word for people who go to church because they trust God will be wisdom, because we believe that that wisdom is not something that you can learn or taught in a university or taught in any a subject in the school curriculum, but it's something that is given by a higher power, supernatural power, by God, if you're a believer. But if you're not, then the word becomes maturity, like you're more matured. You look at the same thing, you're matured. Like, say if I come and I give $10 each to youths or to children, maybe they're sitting on their 17 or they're 18, the way that if I look at them, the way that they spend their money or the way that they go and use that money for shows me their maturity or their wisdom on how they manage those funds given. So it can be money that I'm talking about, but it can be other material things. It can be your school books, the way you manage them. So you become more matured. And back to what I've just mentioned, when you come from a family that struggles, like you don't have things easy, or you lose your parents earlier than the normal, that makes you, those are circumstances that makes you more matured. I believe for me, I could say that I became more matured earlier in my age because I lost my dad when I was only 13 years of age. And the circumstances of my upbringing is totally different from a normal Itoke family that has aunties and uncle. Like if something happened to you, at least you have this support system around you that you can go and stay with an uncle, or you can go and stay with an aunt, or even stay with your grandmother. And Fijians or Itoke have got a very good support system when it comes to that, because there are always people there to look after you if something doesn't go your way. And for mine was totally different because we are always a private family. When my father passed on, that leaves my mom and us. So it made me more matured. I was the youngest in the family. I was only in year 9, but it makes me more matured. I look at things in a different way because at the back of my head, I'm always thinking, no one is there. No one is there to support me. Even though I have my brother who's looking after my fees and looking after my upbringing and helping my mom financially. But I don't want to rely on it all the time, because sometimes he's there, sometimes he's not there, because he's got a life of his own as well. So growing up in that kind of circumstances make me more matured. And now that I look back, I started work when I was only 16 years of age. I left the first term of year 12. And I got married when I was only 18 years of age. And not only I got married when I was 18, I even bought a car when I was 19. And the life moved on from there until what I am today. So I look at things in a totally different way compared to normal people, the way they look at it. I look at saving from a very young age, and it becomes my life until today. So the circumstances that you're going through, you may have suffered through that system, or maybe you miss your parents because they have to leave you earlier, or they go their separate ways, or they pass on, or they may move on and have their own families. Sometimes when you're brought up in those kind of circumstances, it makes you more mature than the normal, because you're always looking at the same thing, but you're anticipating. No one is going to be there for me all the time. This is my only time, and if I'm receiving this, I might as well use it in a better way or a proper way that will help me or help my siblings, in years to come. And we get to hear about testimonies or older youth sharing, or even young couples, that when they grew up and things happened in their family, they became like the mother and the father because of their status in the family, being the elders. They become so responsible for the remaining members of the family or their siblings, and sometimes they forego their university studies, or they forego the good things in their life, and they sacrifice that, for their siblings. And it made them more responsible and more matured, and they look at life totally different. And I believe back in your years, maybe it's still happening now, on how people leave the village and you're being asked, and they usually hold back one of the children to stay with them or to look after them. Or you say to yourself, I can't, I have to look after my parents. And you sacrifice things of your life. And few stories that I've heard, for few people who have done that, the blessing that comes with it, because they made a stand to honor their parents, or they forego the good things of their life. Or you may be one of those that are listening to us today, and you've given up on a lot of things of your life to be able to make it work for your family or for your siblings, or different circumstances that you're in. And sometimes you cry alone because no one is there to help you. And sometimes like you want to give up on life because you felt the burden on you is too much compared to the age that you were in, and sometimes, like you don't even look forward to life because of those
I guess when we face with environment that are not conducive, or the environment that are very challenging, it's the way that we look at things.
Yes.
If we remain positive and we are adamant, confident that there is something good out there. There's something good out there. It makes you grow fast in maturity, or what we call, you will have a lot of wisdom, because you are not looking at the circumstances or the challenges or the difficult environment that you go through. You are hoping and believing that something good is out there. I believe it's that mindset. That mindset creates that wisdom and confidence.
And then it pushes you
to achieve. So regardless what you're facing, if your mind is set, if your mind is determined, and for us believers, that's what we call faith. In the world, we call it positive attitude. But if we are a believer, we have that the advantage that we are relying, that we know that there is a supernatural, that He can do miracle, signs and wonders. So the challenge is out there in the world, and it must be shared to our children or to our grandchildren and to the younger generation while we are on it, while we have the opportunity to do the best. We must strive for the best. Because out there, something good will come our way. But if we are just thinking of gloomy and doom, then
you're already given up.
You already given up. You haven't started the battle. You already lost the war. So it's a challenge on family talk like this, that you can do it, you can achieve. There's something good out there. There's the word that we normally use it today, to be resilient on things that we, regardless what we do, whether in the village, whether in the village or in urban centers, or we are from overseas, that we can do it. Around, it can be done. Nothing is impossible, and it's a challenge to every families out there, every single parent out there, every young people out there, regardless of what you're going through now or what you start to see that is on the horizon, that it can be done. You just do your best. As I said before, in the secular world we call it positive attitude. But for those that believe in God, we call it faith. And when we have that, what a wonderful place the world.
Because when you have a positive attitude or positive energy, it attracts positivity to your life.
You continue to speak good things. You continue to smile. You tackle every day with a positive attitude, regardless of the result that you face so many days. You continue to look for better days to come, and those kind of positive attitude attracts a positive result. There's a saying says, whatever you confess, you shall possess. Your confession comes because of the positive.
You believe that it can happen in your life.
You know the logic is, you know the fact that is already negative, but because you believe, because you think, because you are determined.
Yeah.
And you can change the situation, regardless whether you're in the village, regardless whether you're still a student or you're out there working. As long as you have a positive attitude, then your mind will drive your body to
I think it takes us back on the importance of the attitude,
Yeah.
Because you can have everything good, it can be all provided for you, but if your attitude is not right, then the achievement level is very low. And the situation may be not to your liking, very negative, lack in so many ways, but if your attitude is good, it's amazing how it can turn out to be. That is why, like for most children, I always share about my grandchildren because they are realistically, what's happening in my life. And I've always said this to them: look, you have your study corners, you have a bed to sleep on, and you have meals on the table. There are not any day that you're looking around not having any food, or you're looking for food. There's always meals. And you have school sandals to wear to school. You have your uniform. You have everything that it takes to be able to achieve the best in your school. So I can provide you all these things to help you and provide a support system for you to be able to achieve well. But at the end of the day, it's your attitude. And that's what I always tell my grandsons. It's your attitude. Because I can be doing all these things and even go and organize to print out past year's exam papers. And if I had got them printed and put them in the file according to the subject and leave it here, it's your attitude. Because I should be the one to come and remind you, okay, you do that, you do that. But when you have a positive attitude and you're responsible for it, you will push yourself because everything is provided. And they have a very, very close friend. Joshua has got a very, very close friend. He's got friends, one who lives with us, just like we treat him like Joshua or like one of my grandchildren. He's been with us for years, and his name is Carlos. He's got another best friend of his, and he goes to QVS, and he stays in the hostel. And for Junior, this friend of his, he does very well. He comes out with excellent results for his schoolwork. And I've always used that situation for them, like this scenario, and share it with them. Look, you have it all good. You come home at your own leisure, at your own time. You choose when to study or when to eat or whether you rest a bit. All those things, you have those options. And there's never a day that you can turn to me and say, Nana, I like this, or Nana, I need this. Or even the time when you tell me for me to say to you that I won't be able to provide, which I try my best to. And this is Junior. He stays in the hostel. There's a certain time for them to wake up, and they cut the grass. The meals that they eat is for everybody. And there's always time for everything. Time to study, time to go to sleep, time to have their meals. With all those things that he goes through as a normal boarder or as a normal hostel a student, and you have yours here, and if he's able to come and produce that result with those circumstances, I challenge you. I always pose that question to them. Now with everything that you have and everything that is provided and everything, the support system is very good, then you need to ask yourself, what can I do? Is this the best that I'm doing? And if I'm looking at their results from their tests, and if they do good, like in the 80s and 90s, and said, that's very good, but what can stop you from getting more? It's very good. And if you look back, if you look at your mistakes, what can you do that you can improve? Or you just got it wrong because you don't know, or you got it wrong because of a mistake that you made that you can avoid it. So those are the questions that I take them through. And if you really, really score low, then is that your best? And I challenge them as much as possible. So like what I said, before this school term emerging up again from Tuesday, we've had our talks last week. By Thursday, I start talking to them about these things. And by Wednesday night when we have our devotion, and I say to them, now you can enjoy whatever that you're doing your games, have your gadgets, have your phones. We're having fun together as a family, swimming in the pool. But by next week, I will take all these gadgets out and I will need you to focus on your schoolwork. And if anything, I'm going to be there to support you. And this goes to parents. We all love our children. We all love our grandchildren. And most times we are so busy with every other things that we're doing. I could say, like for me, yeah, I'm busy. I go to work every day. And I also have a church that I'm so involved in. And I have this big extended family. So with all that, I will not use it as an excuse that I'm not able to spend time with them or go through their school results or have the moment of discussion with them. So if you haven't had the opportunity to do that over the school year, now it's October, please spend some time with your children to sit with them or your grandchildren and just be part of what they're going through, just like what Gaselevo is just sharing with us this morning. And this is to you students. If you know that you have a very good support system from home, don't just throw it away or don't, don't just casually treat it like, so, okay, I'm supposed to be having this anyway. My parents are supposed to be doing this anyway. You need to take whatever that is being given and provided and have that gratitude in your heart. And say, oh, I thank my mom and dad in providing this facility for me. I thank my mom and dad in sending me to school. There's never a time that I run out or my bus, my transport card doesn't have any money in it. It's always enough funds